Welcome to my analysis. Welcome to the village analysis in which simplicity is key. And I'm just here to give you what is trending and what is taking place in the country today. Aside from Natembeya saga, unfortunately, we have seen what has happened in Kitale. It is a sad moment because in Kitale, we have seen vandalism as a result of Natembeya home being raided and Natembeya being arrested. We have seen the citizens have taken their own decision and vandalized the vehicles from the police. But politically, Natembeya is establishing himself as a political leader who wants to take over Western Kenya. But aside from that, let me take you to Hustler Fund. Hustler Fund, there are so many candidates in this country. And what does the government have to say about Hustler Fund?
Na kwa hiyo sisi tumetoa njia mbadala za kuweza kuwapatia Wakenya pesa mfukoni. Kwa mfano, ule mfuko wa fedha wa Hustler Fund. Sasa hivi umeweza kuwafaidi Wakenya zaidi ya milioni 25. Na hakuna rashasha na mbwembwe kwa sababu unatumia tu simu yako ya rununu, unapata fedha zako unalipa. Zaidi ya bilioni 70, sio zile 50 za kwanza, zimeweza kupatianwa katika mfuko huu, na hata wengine wameweza kuwekeza pesa zingine pale. Kwa hiyo ni jambo ambalo tumewasaidia Wakenya zaidi ya Wakenya milioni 25. Lakini bado kuna vikundi ambavyo havijafikiwa, kwa sababu ukiangalia vile vikundi ambavyo viko katika Hustler Fund sio vingi tu. Kwa lazima tuende kule tuwazungumzie, wana mahitaji yao, wanatuambia kile ambacho wanataka, tunawasikiza, alafu tunawaachia pia pesa yao ya kufanya maendeleo. Na sidhani umesikia mtu yote akilalamika kwamba anafaidi kutokana na lile. Kwa hivyo Jatham, tutaendelea kufanya lile, na tunaongozwa, ni wabunge wanakuja kwa pamoja, na hata viongozi wa serikali kwa sababu ni serikali yetu, na tukiongozwa pia na naibu rais ambaye ni Profesa Kithure Kindiki, ambaye sasa anatuongoza kwa lile, na hata sio yeye peke yake, kuna viongozi wengine ambao tunaenda katika, na tutaendelea kufanya vile ili tuweze kuwainua Wakenya, kwa sababu tuliahidi mambo ya bottom up. Sasa tuko kwenye serikali, sio tu kuahidi, ni kutekeleza.
So clearly what you can see, the Hustler Fund now is being taken over by the Vice President, that is Kindiki Kithure, and is now becoming a pet project for the Vice President so that he can also be able to enrich himself. And it was yesterday that we heard Gachagua saying the government is taking public money and use it politically. And so the government has come strongly to defend and said, yes, indeed, Kindiki Kithure is there and is going to spearhead the Hustler Fund and all other projects that will benefit the normal Mwananchi. And out of this one, we are seeing a government always coming to the trap of Rigathi Gachagua, because Rigathi Gachagua is a very smart politician. He knows how to drive a narrative, and when we drive it, the whole of the government swim into it. And when the government swim into it, what will happen? Rigathi Gachagua become more famous. So Rigathi Gachagua is a very smart politician who knows how to drive the narrative, and whenever Rigathi Gachagua touch a matter, you can be able to see that the government come in strongly, want to defend and want to show that whatever is taking place in this country is at the right. For instance, the issue of Natembeya, Rigathi Gachagua was able to capture it yesterday, and he said, I know you are going to arrest Natembeya. If you dare arrest him, we are going to react. And ladies and gentlemen, today we saw what happened. There was a reaction after Natembeya was arrested. So Rigathi Gachagua is literally be able to control the government and be able to put it to the place that he wants. And at the end of the day, he will become the famous individual because he has known the tactic of manipulating the government. He has known the tactic of changing the course. And so he's a smart politician because he can dictate the debate that can take place in the country. Swali is, will he dictate the result of 2027 election? Already we are seeing him coming out a strong person because he has made the government to go on toes.
Another question?
Good morning, Dr. My name is Caleb Koril from Jetka Media.
Yes.
And there's something you talked about earlier on not Hustler Fund, that is a housing fund,
Affordable housing.
Affordable housing itself.
Yes, please.
So my question is, how many units are ready? And what criteria is the government using to decide who gets the house and who doesn't. And there's another question also on Hustler Fund.
Okay.
There's a time when we heard that the government is going to use forceful measures to recover the money for those who are defaulting. So what is the government doing on that front as well? Thank you.
Yes, we have enough data to see to it that we can tell. For those who are defaulting on what measures we shall use will be announced as we go by, but we will do so because it's not fair for you to take money and then you don't want to pay, and you remember the Minister for Cooperatives spoke very strongly about it. But let me come to the issue of affordable housing and allow me to refer here.
So we are seeing a narrative being driven because the opposition has been strong and saying, you people are misusing public money. And now the government has reacted. He said, we are going to follow up and ensure everybody who has taken Hustler Fund will be able to repay. I want to believe so many Kenyans are a victim of Hustler Fund. So many of them will be approached by the government, and a way to be able to pay it will be there. What else is taking place in other frontiers? Let's look around.
It will be a question and answer, so that then we are able to be able to resolve issues once and for all. But from the outset, the government wishes to strongly condemn the pronouncements by certain political leaders concerning the 2027 general elections. It is totally unacceptable for any leader to imagine that they can incite Kenyans into violence just because they would want to accrue political mileage and to threaten the peace. If we all remember, in 2007, there was that whole issue of so many Kenyans dying, and they will never come back to life. And there was displacement of 600,000 Kenyans. So for anyone to threaten that, I think that is totally unacceptable, and the government strongly condemns such utterances, and we will stop at nothing to ensure the safety of Kenyans and peace and tranquility within our borders.
So that is a narrative that has been given to the government by the opposition. So I will keep saying the opposition is way ahead of government in Kenya because they can be able to dictate what can the government do. Remember, whatever the statement is his Honorable Maura is making is the reference of some politician. He is even not mentioning the politician, but he is barely almost saying Gachagua, because Rigathi Gachagua is being accused that he said in one of the interview that there will be tough moment ahead if the election will be stolen. And so the government is back, is reacting. Yesterday we saw the deputy president reacted and saying we are not going to condone that one. We saw the CS for Interior Security, Mr. Murkomen, reacted and said we are going to arrest anybody. And here today we are seeing the government spokesperson coming again strongly and say the government statement. And yesterday the government officers led by the deputy president were able to communicate, and it could have been better if this press briefing by the government spokesperson could have even dwelled on more other issues, or actually not have been delivered, because everything else was responded yesterday. And so doing a double standard or continual communication could not be able to solve it.
Also, it is important to say that of late, there has been a lot of misinformation, disinformation, because we are seeing people who are outrightly lying in order to gain, popularity. How on earth can anyone say that President Ruto has taken 3 to 4 trillion shillings the last 2 years? I mean, it's totally hogwash. Even I myself, as a government spokesman, having served in the Budget and Appropriations Committee of the National Assembly and Vice Chairman of the Budget Committee of the Senate, our budget for the whole year is 4 trillion shillings. I mean, then how do you make it that as an individual can have that kind of money? It's totally unacceptable. I think some...
So the opposition has totally drawn the Kenya Kwanza regime off board, because the Kenya Kwanza regime now is following what the opposition is dictating them to do. It is unfair. It is, the government should now appear and stamp the authority and not respond to everything that the opposition will have to put across. Otherwise, if the government chooses to respond to everything that the opposition will be saying, definitely it is going to be a hard moment ahead for the government because the opposition are now happy. First of all, Rigathi Gachagua has taken the mountain. That is not a secret anymore. The mountain has gone, and 5 million voters is in the basket of Rigathi Gachagua. The Western Kenya is heading away. The moment they continue to harass Natembeya, the Western Kenya will go away. And I said one time, Nyanza is not in government. Nyanza will one day come out. It will only require a one statement for His Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga to disown President William Samoei Ruto, and everybody else will be against President William Samoei Ruto. You imagine 2026 December next year when Raila Amolo Odinga will come out and said, unajua wa Kenya, kuna njia mingi ya kuua panya, na niliposhindwa kuua panya ilibidi niingie ndani ndio watu wangu wapate pesa. Sasa ninajua shimo zote, na zile shimo zote ni Badi anajua, zile shimo zote Undanyi anajua, zile shimo zingine zote Joho anajua, zile shimo zingine zote fulani na fulani anajua. Kwa hivyo sasa tunataka kutoa serikali ndio tuunde serikali yetu moja ambayo hatuwezi kushare na mtu yeyote. Kwa hivyo nimesema mimi kama Raila Amolo Odinga siendi kusimama, lakini nimesimamisha so and so. Ladies and gentlemen, the Kenya Kwanza regime will be left as a shell. The Kenya Kwanza regime will be left as a shell. And so if that will become the outcome in 2026 December, definitely William Samoei Ruto will become a one-term president. Kenyan are saying one term. Opposition has given them a narrative. They are calling it a one term. You saw what happened globally. You saw what happened in Qatar. You saw what happened in the US. Everywhere Kenyans are meeting. You saw what happened in the artists. Everywhere Kenyans are meeting, they said one term, one term, one term. So the one-term slogan has been given to the government by the opposition, and the opposition is going to be strong. Will continue to give the government sleepless night, and the government of Kenya need now to go back and to look at what are we not doing right, because we are being given the driven narrative by the opposition. If you are new to my channel, consider to subscribe to my channel. I endeavor to give you this small analysis. This is the start, this is the beginning, and whatever small I will be able to give you, you can always be able to follow up with you and give you the layman discussion. Mine today is the opposition as dictated to the government of Kenya what to say and how to say it. Thank you. Subscribe to my channel if you are a new subscriber, and if you are a returning viewer, kindly consider to like, consider to make a comment, and be able to share my videos so that I can be able to have an audio content. Once again, my name is Isaac Ledama Isaac, the veteran, the village analyst who will be able to give you. And as I keep saying, these videos that I am making is also an inspiration to the content creators that you don't need to have complicated devices to create content. You can always arm with your phone. You can just make a simple content, and definitely we are going to have information all over, and we are going to have definitely a channel growing. Thank you for my subscribers. For the new subscribers, continue being there, and for the new subscribers coming, please subscribe to my channel. Once again, thank you and be blessed.